they can only let it go so long and then you have to go to a break.
Yeah, exactly.
But when the break comes, I think we should film that.
Yes.
That's a good idea, isn't it? I've always thought that we should film the break.
Because surely the argument continues, right?
It doesn't actually. Everyone just sort of almost starts laughing. I remember one a few years ago, me and Roy. I think we were arguing about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the manager, and I was saying he's not good enough. And then he just brought Frank Lampard in from nowhere. And then we went to the break and I went, poor Frank Lampard, he's just having a Sunday dinner at home, you know what I mean? And just out of nowhere, Roy Keane just threw him in.
Yeah, man. No, I'm joking.
I got Saudi money doing favours. Yeah. I said, yeah, I'm gone.
When I try to give my opinions, I try to give my opinions that I fully feel.
Not bad, I'd say, to be fair.
See, I agree with Timbsy. We're meant to be mates.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tea With Timbsy, and I'm privileged to say I'm joined by an absolute legend, the one and only Jamie Carragher. Jamie, how you doing, mate?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. I know you didn't have any choice in the matter, but welcome to the show. No, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. It is Tea With Timbsy, me. You've gone with an English breakfast tea.
Yeah, it probably sums it up, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Just a centre-back.
Yeah.
6 out of 10.
Oh, English breakfast could be right up there.
Yeah.
A good English breakfast tea. But we've gone with...
Is this a good one?
Oh, it's everyday tea, isn't it? It's not really.
Yeah, it's...
So nothing but the best. But anyway, this is the first time I'm actually going to be pouring a tea for you, so there you go. Probably let that give it a minute or two, let that brew. But
it's going to be enough for you.
What? Oh no. What is
spilling it? Don't be spilling it.
What is your usual cuppa? Say you're at home. What is your preferred cuppa, by the way?
That's it. Everywhere I go, whether a hotel or a home, English breakfast tea.
Really?
I've never had a coffee in my life.
No way.
No. So it's a good job it wasn't Coffee with Colin or
Yeah.
something like that.
If I was called Colin, I would have my own YouTube show, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you've never had coffee?
No.
Coffee's really popular with footballers, though.
No, I just the smell. I've never really tasted it.
To be fair,
Everyone
yeah.
seems to have it and love it, but the smell of coffee is just a no-no for me.
Okay, fair. All right, well, yeah, no coffee, so you're sweet. We are here at Socceraid, so obviously I have to say a massive shout out to Puma for bringing us in, inviting us down here. Socceraid, an amazing event with UNICEF. You excited?
Very excited, yeah. We haven't won one for a while, so I think it's about time that we turn the tables. So it's been good. We have a few drinks, we enjoy ourselves a few days before, and then gets a bit more competitive on the day of the game.
Nice. England do need to win something. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you get to play often?
I probably play 3 or 4 times a year in these type of games. So the last game I played was against Mr. Neville, would you believe, at Old Trafford about a month ago. We beat them 3-1.
Was that like a Legends game?
Liverpool Legends v Man United Legends, yeah.
Nice.
So we won 3-1. So if we can beat them, why can't we beat the world 11?
No, that is true. Do you even obviously your schedule's quite busy during the football season. Your schedule's busy because you're obviously working with Sky and working the games. But do you actually play five-a-side or keep fit in that way?
No, I used to play five-a-side when I first stopped every Friday night at Bootle Stadium, and it was getting too competitive, or I was getting too competitive, shall we say.
Yeah.
And you end up arguing or putting a bit of a bad tackle on someone, you're thinking, what am I doing? I've actually stopped playing. So, what am I thinking? So I keep fit most days, but that's more of a boxing gym, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll do that. So the five-a-side had to go.
And then, when you did stop playing, because I know I look young, but I'm 30.
You're joking?
No, yeah, I'm 30, yeah. So obviously I remember you playing, I'm an Arsenal fan, you playing against us back in the day. But you hanging up your boots, now I'm guessing you're used to it, right? But was it difficult to initially when you made the decision to retire and then?
No, it wasn't for me, and I don't miss it. I loved it, but I don't miss it. I'm lucky that I've got things that I can focus on now, and the job I do. I'm always thinking about the teams now, and looking ahead to next season. But no, I was ready to finish. Really? I was done. I didn't want to play for anybody else. Yeah. And to play for an Arsenal or a Liverpool or United, one of the top teams, you've got to be at a certain level. And me at 34, 35, I was just probably crossing that line. I didn't want to put myself in a situation where my own supporters didn't want me in the team. So no, I made the right decision.
So you kind of bowed out while you were on top, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I was in and out the team in the last couple of seasons, as you'd expect at that age, but it wasn't a case of being terrified of not playing football anymore. I look back and I'm really proud, but I made the right decision. I think you've got to get out at the right time.
And now with punditry, was that something that you knew you wanted to get into rather than coaching?
No, it was always one or the other. That's the dilemma for a lot of players now coming to the end. And I started doing my coaching badges.
Yeah.
And I did a bit of TV punditry for ITV.
Okay.
At a Euros, I think it was 2012. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite enjoy the coaching, I must say.
Okay.
And I maybe gave the coaching up a little bit too early. I'd done my B licence and I was just starting on my A licence. But then once I got the punditry job, I didn't think there'd be any chance I'd be going into football. So
You
I
thought
didn't
this
carry
is
on.
too easy, the
Yeah.
money's too good, it's
Yeah.
just you turn up.
All of
and-
those things.
But now, like, you're so synonymous.
actually drink this tea, do we?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. No, I was waiting for it to brew.
Oh, okay.
There you go, after you.
Yeah.
That's fine, you can keep what it's fine. No, it's all good. No, it's all good.
No, it's all right.
good.
We'll cut that bit out, won't we?
How's that? Does that taste
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day?
I'd stick with the black coffee, actually.
Okay. Black coffee.
Coffee, yeah. Black tea.
You are, like, with the punditry now, I think so many people know you and love you for your punditry, especially
Love.
like alongside...
I'm not sure it's all love.
No, it is though.
Going off my social media profiles.
No, but surely, because you and Gary, I feel like you are both so now comfortable, like, being punditry. I remember on the overlap when they showed the old clip of Gary when he first started and he was a little bit awkward and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But now you two are so comfortable with it. I think no one surely gets annoyed at you anymore.
No, I'm only
no?
joking. Every football fan thinks every pundit is against their team.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and also I love Liverpool or Gary loves Man United, and you'll never get away from that because of the tribalism of football.
Yeah.
Really, and we've all got that paranoia. We think every referee is against our team, don't we?
Yeah.
So, but that's part and parcel of football. No, it's fine. I love doing the job that we do. We put a lot into it, but we also enjoy it as well. You know, it's not a chore.
You have to, innit?
I mean, what a job we've got.
Yeah.
I mean, getting paid to watch football.
Yeah.
You know, can you get a better job than that?
Yeah, it's true. But you do yourself a discredit, because I think you actually do come out with, insightful stuff. And obviously it's like entertainment as well, because people, I tune in because you and Gary and Micah and everyone is getting involved and having a laugh, but also, like, you're saying stuff that is of value that you wouldn't really otherwise know. When it comes to punditry, is there any particular part of it that you find the most rewarding or, like, enjoyable?
Yeah, I think doing Monday Night Football and finding something, a piece of analysis that no one has really seen before or has touched on.
Yeah.
And you're almost setting an agenda, maybe about a team or a certain player, about what he does. So, I mean, if I've got Monday Night Football, I do anyway. I'd watch every football show or every game over that weekend, just to be aware of what other people are talking about, whether I agree with it or not, whether I do agree and think, well, actually, I could make that better. So I think doing something on a Monday Night Football, a piece for 5 or 6 minutes, and getting into real analysis that nobody else has done.
Yeah.
And it working and being right. I think that's the most rewarding, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, you and Gary, when you do your Monday night stuff, everyone interprets, tactics or whatever it differently. But do you find, like, you more or less are like aligned with Gary Neville, or do you often come kind of at
No, I think
loggerheads?
we're aligned more often than not. No one agrees on everything. Now, listen, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I think if you're completely different ends of the spectrum of how you see football, there'll be maybe more debate, but
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a constant sort of arguing back and forward. I think when there is one, it is genuine. It's not, we're doing this for hits or views or whatever. It is our view on the game. And I suppose we are quite aligned, being, local players at the sort of same club, both being defenders. So there is something in that. But when we do disagree, that is genuine, and that's when we can really go for it.
Yeah. And do you feel like you've now been given license to, like, when you do disagree? And what was the one where, who was it? It was you and, was it Keane?
Yeah, about Ronaldo.
And it was, but you properly got into it. And I feel like a few years ago, maybe even, 5 or more years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do that. Do you feel like now you're being let loose a little bit more? You can sort of really go for things?
Yeah, I think that comes from being comfortable as well. And I also think it's the characters, the personalities. We're both, me, Roy, Gary as well, maybe even Graham Souness. We're all quite on the front foot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an act for TV. We were like that as players. We were quite aggressive players, and I think we're passionate about the game. So again, it's, as you said before, you're right. It is entertainment. You've got to remember that it's not just football. You've got to enjoy yourself. You've got to give the viewers something where they're not getting bored.
Yeah.
But I think situations like that, you're in the pub, aren't you? You with your
It's
mates,
true,
or wherever
yeah.
you are, and you're not in the TV studio, and the TV studio just goes out the window, and I've got to win this argument. So I'm not letting up. You know what I mean? But no, it's good. But what you got to remember is, you know, they can only let it go so long, and then you have to go to a break.
Yeah, exactly.
But when the break comes, I think we should film that.
Yes.
That's a good idea, isn't it? I've always thought that we should film the break.
Because surely the argument continues, right?
It doesn't actually. Everyone just sort of almost starts laughing. You know, like it's like. I remember one a few years ago, me and Roy. I think we were arguing about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the manager, and I was saying he's not good enough. And then he just brought Frank Lampard in from nowhere. And then we went to the break and I went, poor Frank Lampard, he's just having a Sunday dinner at home, you know what I mean? And just out of nowhere, Roy Keane threw him in.
He's like, hang on a sec, how have I been dragged into this? To go into your punditry life a little bit, what are your thoughts on like ex-players being managers? Do you think it's on the whole a good idea, or would you sort of tend to steer clear of
No, I
doing
think
that?
it's a good idea. I think a lot of our generation is being criticised, and maybe rightly so, for going into punditry and not going into coaching. I'm not criticised because...
No, not criticised, no.
It's like, I think people want to see, you know, that golden generation that it was called, those England players. Now, we never achieved as much as we should have done, but there were some world-class players in that squad. And it is nice to sort of see how they would fare in management. And I think we're so desperate in this country, feels to me, for our own Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
You know, we went straight from sort of playing straight into management, and you look at Frank and Stevie, two of the greatest midfield players this country's ever produced, both got over 100 caps. So I think it is great to see them on the journey and where it's going to go, and for us to analyse that.
Yeah.
We've had both of them, I think, on the show on Sky and on Monday Night Football. So, you know, credit to them for having a go.
Yeah. With those two as well, because obviously everyone knows that like England's golden generation, 2006, like should have done more with what we had. Did you know that those two, like their approach to the game, could you sort of tell they were going to get into coaching or management or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people would have said I would have before Stevie in the dressing room. Yeah, I think Stevie would say that himself. Oh God, that was been coming for 5 minutes. That.
I've got some tablets if you need some.
Yes.
But yeah, so you were.
I think most people in the dressing room would have felt I'd have gone into it. Oh, people always say to me, oh, I thought you were going to be a coach or a manager, because I probably love football more than anyone in the dressing rooms I was involved in. But I don't think just loving football necessarily means you should be a manager. It's about, you know, dealing with people. You know, and that's probably where I would fall down. Really actually dealing with people on an everyday basis who are maybe doing things that I didn't want them to do.
Do you think that's like an undervalued or kind of underrated part of being a manager, like that, being good with people aspect?
Oh, it's massive.
Because like people just obviously, I mean, I also think like surely you need to know the game, be really good with your tactics. But do you think that's an underrated aspect, that be able to speak to people?
Maybe it is, but it shouldn't be. I think that's one of the most important things, if not the most important things. When you talk about knowing the game, of course you've got to know the game if you're a manager. Yeah. But you've got so many people around, you know, coaches, analysts, people putting the video clips together.
Yeah.
You know, for a manager, it is almost just managing a group of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the name, isn't it? So when I watch someone like Jurgen Klopp, you see him on the pitch hugging, kissing the players after a game. No one ever says anything if they're not playing. He always speaks really well about people in the press. And does he really believe what he's saying? He probably doesn't. Yeah. But he knows he says it as part of the act, part of sort of keeping a club and in a dressing room together.
Yeah. And before, I'd love to talk to you about Liverpool as well. But just a word on that England side as well, 2006. Is there any player from like the current side that you think could have made that squad? Because in that squad back then, I mean, the list is endless of legendary, unbelievable players. Mm-hmm. Do you think there would be a player who's currently playing in the England squad who would have been able to play back then?
I think Declan Rice. I think England were crying out, weren't they, for sort of that sort of real holding midfield player. And I'm not saying Declan Rice is a complete holding midfield because he likes to get forward, but I think someone alongside Lampard and Gerrard in that midfield role. I think possibly Declan Rice. I think he's a super player.
So Dec,
big
Dec.
Will he be happy? Has he been on you?
No, he's not. But I interviewed him.
Is he not a big enough name yet?
No, yeah. Now he is.
He is now. I put him in that midfield.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I love him now because even it's been about before when he first broke on. I was like, yeah, he's a good player, but then nothing really wowed me about him. Yeah. But genuinely, over the last like 10 months, he's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think he's the next England captain.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, he should be. And
then with the Prem as well. So with this Liverpool side, you say obviously Jurgen Klopp and the effect that he's had. How good do you think? Because I had another name drop. I had Carl Walker on the show.
Yeah, okay.
a few weeks ago, and I asked him, do you think people realise how good City have been or have had to be because of Liverpool over the last few years? And he said no. He's like, I don't think people, he says he doesn't even think they knew how good they had to be.
Yeah.
How good do you think these Liverpool and Man City sides are compared to obviously the legendary teams that Chelsea 05-06, Arsenal Invincibles?
I think they're right up there. I really do. I think they could go up against anyone. The only way you can judge English teams and how strong they are is what they do in Europe, for me.
Yeah.
I mean, because who knows what it'd been like playing 15 years ago, or what Wenger's teams and Ferguson's teams would have done right now.
Yeah.
You look at the points totals are completely different now.
Yeah.
So that is a barometer. But then you could argue, is that the strength of the league? You know, in terms of the teams at the top getting more points because the teams at the bottom is not as strong. I don't know. You could make that argument, but the levels of consistency we've never seen before.
Yeah.
I don't think we will see again.
Really?
Not so much consistently. We'll have the odd season where a team does lose one game, and we had the Invincibles. Don't get me wrong, but even the Invincible team, points-wise, was nowhere near what these teams are getting.
Yeah.
They're getting like an extra 10 or 15 points a season. So whether we get that again when Klopp and Pep leave, I'm not so sure. But I think right now, if you start next season and ask people who won the Champions League, most people would say Liverpool or Man City. I know Real Madrid won it, and they had a bit of a freak run, but I still think Man City and Liverpool will be the favourites for the Champions League next year.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. And you say like the barometer, I guess, for how good a team is obviously what they do in Europe, right? But then you also feel like...
No, I'm talking about not the actual team, the league as such.
Oh, the league, sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm talking about
the
strength of the Premier League. The only way you can fully judge it, and I think in the late 2000s, when we were there, so we won it in 05, I think. Arsenal got the final 06.
06, yeah.
We got the final 07. 08 was United Chelsea.
Yeah. And
then United had a couple of games against Barcelona. So for a 6 or 7 year period,
it was
it was the Premier League, and I think we're getting close to that now with Chelsea, City in the final last year, Liverpool the final, Liverpool winning it. So I think we're getting back to that.
That is true. But also, so obviously having won the Champions League yourself, right? There is always that debate. I think a lot of people have been talking about it recently as well, about Man City winning the Premier League, Real Madrid winning the Champions League, for example. What's harder to do? Because I would probably lean towards, like, even we saw Chelsea winning it last year. You don't need to be the best team in Europe to win it, even though it is obviously impossibly hard. But to win the Premier League is just different.
Yeah, it is different. I always side with the Champions League, and my easiest argument is, well, I think there's only Nottingham Forest who've won more European Cups than leagues, so every other team in Europe have won the league more times than the European Cup.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
So, and you look at sort of big teams who've gone so, I mean, City haven't won it. Someone like an Inter Milan, they won it under Jose, but you'd have to go back to the 60s since they won it before. Yeah, PSG can't win it right now. Now, different leagues have got different strengths. The Premier League, I agree with you. If you're saying now for Chelsea or Tottenham next season, they will have more chance of winning the Champions League than the Premier League, because I don't see how they get 95 points. It probably would be easier for them to win the Champions League. But if you're at City, if they don't say the Champions League, they've never won it.
Yeah,
so it has to be tougher for them. So it is special, the Champions League. I've said before, I'd rather win the Champions League than the Premier League. I didn't win the Premier League.
Really?
Yeah. I don't get how people don't say that. The Champions League's a much bigger trophy than the Premier League.
But don't you think this year, as a Liverpool fan, would you have preferred to win the Premier League than the Champions League?
Yeah, but the only reason
because you've already won the Champions League, right? Yeah,
maybe, and also because when Liverpool won it, the fans weren't in the stadium, so I could get that sentiment. But I don't ever believe that a domestic league is bigger than the Champions League. I just don't see that. I mean, the Premier League is massive, but the Champions League, it's the whole world's watching that game. That cup is just it's special, isn't it?
Also, just a final word on because I love the Pep Klopp rivalry. I guess you could call it a rivalry. Klopp has revolutionised this Liverpool side, right, and made them one of the best Premier League sides ever. They are unbelievable. When he eventually it might be 5 years or whatever, do you think it's going to be really hard for Liverpool to kick back from, like, kind of bounce back from that?
Yeah, I think it will. I think he's a special manager. He's a one-off. I think Liverpool really, if you were saying where Liverpool should finish, in terms of financially, Liverpool should be a team right now who maybe finish fourth. because, you know, United have got more money, Chelsea
Yeah.
probably got more money, and City. So I know that the league doesn't work like that, but I think Klopp's overachieving more than those other managers in that sort of bracket, really. And I do fear if, when Klopp goes, Liverpool will get another top manager, but would he be Jurgen Klopp? And would he be able to overachieve and compete against other teams who normally spend more money than them? That's the special thing what Klopp's done.
Yeah, that's what I think about Mikel, like Arteta. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think like he is also, even though at the end of the season no one cared, everyone's so annoyed and disappointed we didn't get top 4. But I think to do what he's done with that team has been really impressive, because before there was a lot of deadwood really to get rid of, and it's almost like it just felt good to feel like we were progressing in some way and like developing our play, like actually being in big games, turning up, and apart from the North London derby, like I feel like
that
to even
team
be in the shout was...
That team should finish 5th when you look at it. I think Arsenal getting in the top 4 would have been overachieving, and would have been a great job. I do fear for Arsenal going forward. I think it was an opportunity missed though, in terms of the position you found yourself in, and having no European football. Every week you could, you know, build your whole training up to this one game at the weekend. And I think that's going to be a massive blow for Arsenal to miss out on that. You have Europa League now, and I just don't think you've got the squad. I think you've probably got more chance of winning the Europa League and getting in the Champions League than maybe getting in the top 4. I think it'd be really tough. And the managers
extra, 15
now,
games now?
Yeah,
like...
the managers now in that Premier League, real top quality, and it's going to be tough for any young manager to break through that. You know, the top 4 now, and the managers they've got, you've got Ten Hag coming as well. I think it's going to be tough for Arsenal to get in the top 4.
Yeah. Well, on that bright note, we'll call it a day. No, Jamie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mate,
Thanks for having me.
It, man. Thank you so much. Everyone, if you enjoyed, like, do all that subscribe stuff. Hope you enjoyed, and tune in for the next episode. Can we also get a big shout out to Josh Denzel, our mate, if that's okay?
Josh Denzel, superb job on the overlap. Just keep up the good work, mate.
And that's it. Right, everyone, enjoy. We'll see you next time.